Hello, I'm John French, and today we're talking to Alan Bligh about Monstrous Arcanum, the new Warhammer Forge book. Alan, I understand this book is quite different from Tamarkan, the previous book in this series. Can you tell us a little bit about how and why it is different?
Of course. Principally, of course, well, Tamarkan is a grand campaign book. This itself is sort of just an expansion. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of it for everybody. It's really focused on new monsters for the Warhammer world, as well as new magic items and scenarios and such and so forth. And it's given us a real chance to explore the dark parts of the Warhammer world for the first time.
How much does Monstrous Arcanum reveal about the Warhammer world? How much are we off the map, so to speak?
Well, a great thing about this, as I've said, I think, is that this has given us such a good chance to explore the dark corners of the Warhammer world. Now, in some cases, that's dark parts of a familiar place like the Forest of Bretonnia, which now you can find the sort of the hideous Praeton in there to savage the Bretonian questing knights, or stuff that's, as it were, only ever been sort of hinted at in a kind of, sometimes quite literally, here be dragons kind of way on a map. So we have from the warp fire dragons from the far south, and the dread moors from beyond the mountains in the east, and all kinds of hideous monsters, which of course are all available to play in your games of Warhammer and unleash upon your foes.
I understand you can use the units and monsters from this book in a number of ways. Can you tell us a little bit about how they fit in with Storm of Magic?
Yeah, they're completely compatible with the Storm of Magic expansion. Each one is featured on its own binding scroll, just as you'll find in Storm of Magic. As well as that, we've introduced a number of systems and scenarios to enable you to use all of those kind of monsters in more regular battles, so you don't have to be doing the full Storm of Magic stuff. And this all rolls into a mini campaign in the book as an illustration of how you can do it yourself. We've also got a really cool chart at the back, which hopefully should save some people some labour, in which we've integrated all the monsters and just basically given guidelines of which would be appropriate for which book.
Apart from monsters, what else does the book have?
Oh, we've got some new mystic items, some new magical stuff. There's, for example, there's a strange drum magic item that drives those around it mad. There's specific stuff for slaying monsters as well. So you've got a number of solutions to the kind of the monster arms race that may ensue in your gaming group, and hopefully we've covered stuff that every kind of Warhammer player will quite enjoy, from the ones that prefer to go magic heavy to the ones that just want a horde of beasts at their behest. What
can you tell us about the look of Monstrous Arcanum?
Well, much like Tamarkan, the production team have done a fantastic job sort of maintaining that fantastic, superb style that one had. It's very much an artefact like Tamarkan was. It's a thing almost as if it had been conjured forth from the Warhammer world, almost as a real artefact. There's sort of an overarching story, and the use of artwork, again by much the same team that brought you Tamarkan. We've got some fabulous illustrations. Every one of the new monsters has their own gorgeous full colour illustration, which does more for them, frankly, than my words will ever manage to convey. And again, there's just lots of depth and richness to the detail of the book. It's a really great job, I think.
What's your favourite part of the book, and why?
Well, my favourite part of doing this book was actually the chance to just genuinely invent new monsters for Warhammer. I've always loved Warhammer, and that background's always been sort of a great and deep one. So the chance to either revisit really old bits of the Warhammer world that nobody's seen for a very long time, like the Famur, or come up with entirely new stuff like the incarnate elementals of the various winds of magic, was just a great opportunity and loads of fun to do. I should say as well, it's not just me on this book. We've a couple of other writers involved. We've got Neil Wiley, and this is his first book for us, and also Talima. So we've had some great time just kind of inventing new horrors.
What's next from Warhammer Forge, Alan?
Well, the next thing out the gate is monsters, and lots of them. Monstrous Arcanum is going to be supported by our sculptors. They're doing a fantastic range of great monsters. And after that, our next book, I think it's going to be another big campaign book like Tamarkan, and we're all very excited about that. But I can't tell you any more at the minute, so we'll have to put up with that.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for coming in to talk to us about Monstrous Arcanum, Alan.
No problem at all.